Hi everyone, and welcome back to Dimensional Wellness. This is DeeDee, and I am so glad to be here with you today, exchanging some energy. So there have been a few synchronicities right now, just like in the last 10 minutes as I was coming to Starbucks parking lot. Well, actually, I am in, what is this place called? I'm in Golden Corral parking lot, which I actually remember I had a dream. This is not the dream I'm talking about today, but I'm just thinking about it, that I had this dream of, I want to do a hotel. And the first hotel that I had was kind of like not an Airbnb, like a bed and breakfast kind of situation. And it was actually in an old Golden Corral. So if this Golden Corral, I'm not wishing it, but if this Golden Corral ends up shutting down and it's like the perfect place to do a bed and breakfast, I actually would pass out, because I remember that dream vividly. And I remember I had 3 partners that I had done this bed and breakfast with. My main partner was an Asian woman. And then there was 2 other people that I kind of remember them, but I remember her the most because we were really, really close friends. And there was someone who was trying to get in between our partnership. And I thought it was interesting because that dream actually started off, a tundra. I was literally writing down tundra today. Tundras are related to dragons. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. I'm looking in my rearview mirror and I see a tundra right now. And I was just like the car, Toyota Tundra. Okay, anyways, there's a lot of synchronicity going on right now. And it's so fun because earlier today I was I feel like life is getting a little boring. And I was I need some, this crow just flew over here. I need some, that's what I'm talking about, some spiritual, what's going on, because it's feeling kind of dull right now. What's going on? I'm ready to get stuff done. Anyways, in the beginning of this dream with this bed and breakfast, I was actually sleeping in my bed. So this is before we even got to Arizona. Now, this was around the time that I heard that I should do a hotel. So before we got to Arizona, because, we have Golden Corrals in Louisiana, but it didn't feel like a Golden Corral in Louisiana. And so I was in my bed in New Orleans in this dream, and I went over to an ivy plant. Literally, I went over to an ivy plant. It was ivy around this windowsill, and all I did was touched it. I touched it, and I kid you not, it transported me to a different dimension, which was this dimension, a parallel life of mine. But it was me though, so it wasn't a parallel self, because I kept my consciousness with me. So I was still DeeDee from the other dimension or whatever, but it was a different time. Maybe it was just the future, I guess. So that's not technically a parallel self, I guess. But that's where, I was orienting myself, because I went and laid down in the bed there, and then I woke up. It was kind of a strange thing, but I woke up in that bed too. Even after I touched the ivy, I went to go lay in the bed. Then I woke up, and it was a day had went by. So I woke up that morning, and that's when I remembered in that reality that me and my friend, okay, anyways, so I was starting this video at 10:47, which 1:47 is one of my main guides. And I see that he ushers in other guides. So today I've been seeing hummingbirds. I've seen it twice this morning. So I'm okay, hummingbirds are around, I guess. So I saw it on YouTube and I saw it on Instagram, hummingbirds. It's connected into the name Henry too, which is really crazy because that's a whole nother connection. But anyways, I got into the car and I was planning to come and do this specific podcast. So not this specific episode, but I was I think I should go in the car and do a podcast because energies are starting to align to something. So anyways, I'm listening to this woman on YouTube because they're go listen to this woman's channel. Her name is Dawning Dreams, and they're pick the third video and listen to it. And she was like, you guys need to be paying attention to animal guides that are coming in to give you messages. Literally, as she says that, I'm pulling up to Starbucks and I noticed that they have Guatemala cocoa beans. And I'm like, what? Guatemala? And I don't know if they've always had cocoa beans from Guatemala, but today I know that they changed the specific ad today on what I have been seeing on, the drive-through thing. That picture is new to me. I know, I go to Starbucks pretty frequently. I do. I go to Starbucks pretty frequently. All of a sudden, there's an energy around that loves coffee because I never drink coffee. But then now I'm starting to not really be able to tolerate caffeine. And so now I'm going for like chai lattes and, stuff. So I was tempted today to get some coffee just to connect into that cocoa energy. But it's kind of funny because I end up getting some cocoa butter. So I guess that's kind of like the cocoa connection instead of the caffeine. But anyways, my point is I have a video about Operation Sophia in Guatemala. I had a QHHT session about Guatemala. So that's why I paid attention to it, because before this QHHT session, I had not really been paying attention to Guatemala at all. So I was very surprised when it came up in the QHHT session. So anyways, so as she's saying that, I'm like making the corner for the window, and there's like this really beautiful marigold bush, and there is a hummingbird flying behind it. Literally, she's like, they're going to be sending you messages and it could be through birds. I kid you not. And I was like, you better shut the front door. And it was funny because I had my window down and the woman in front of me, I don't know if she heard me, but I was like, what? Because I have not seen a hummingbird there at all. It's my first time seeing a hummingbird at Starbucks in the 6 or 7 months that we've been living over here. And I haven't seen hummingbirds really since we first lived in Arizona back in July 2021 or something like that. But during that time, so we must be moving houses or something soon. There must be something really big coming with moving soon, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Something a lot more permanent. Now, right now, we're in a place that's permanent, but I guess maybe we're going to be moving to a different... There must be something unexpected, really big, unexpected coming up, some really, really big opportunity to move. That's what I feel like. So anyways, if you're seeing these signs and you are in sync with this reality right now, if you're also seeing hummingbirds, this could be something. So I'm assuming, because I know that there's an Aztec hummingbird deity. I don't know too much about him, but I remember when I saw the hummingbirds back in July 2021. Was it July? Yeah, because even I've been seeing dead birds, and I saw a dead crow recently. And then there was literally a feather big enough to be a quill. And then now I'm seeing the hummingbird again. And this was the same thing. So the last time I saw this hummingbird, I had seen a dead dove. And then feathers, and then I saw the hummingbird, and when I looked it up, there was an Aztec deity that was associated to the hummingbirds. Now, I'm not sure if Aztec is connected to the Guatemalans. I think that's Mayans. Ooh, I'm not sure. I know, I need to get my life together. I need to get my life together. Oh, look, there's literally a little dandelion floating in the wind. Is that what people blow and make wishes? So make a wish right now. Close your eyes and make a wish. I'm about to make mine. Okay. Okay. But anyways, let me get to the point. But I think that is a message before we get started on this today. Because then as I was pulling into the parking lot, there's a car right next to me. Oh my gosh, you better shut up, you guys. So there's the car next to me that has 177, and it's a Matrix theme license plate. Now I sign all of my moon ceremony scripts. I always sign them 771, And so I park in a specific place in this parking lot because there's a pole that has 1771 on it. I kid you not. It's got 1771 on it. And this car is parked right next to 177. So I don't even know if they know that their license plate is connected to this pole too. But that's why I come in over here. And then this car literally just pulled up and it has 444 on the license plate. I promise you. So if you see 177771, hey Soul Tribe, because I'm definitely connected to that. Also, 29, 12, 26, 383, 35, 53. Okay, anyways. Okay, that's like all of the connections, like all of it's making sense. And that was at 10:47 when I said that. So we are in alignment. So let's get into this, a little bit of a story time before we get into the main dream, because this one is it's an intense dream because the subject matter is very intense. The dream itself was not gory or anything. Okay, where does he work at? Does he work at Jersey Mike's? He looks like a mail carrier. Okay. So this actually started off, okay, so there was something going on with Ray, and that's why I was seeing stuff before I left, and I was making the connections, and I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? And then when I figured out what was going on, that's why I picked this specific dream to talk about today. So back in October, so this was right around our first daughter's birthday. So it was around October 10th. It could have been October 8th. It could have been October 4th. I could actually go back to the video and see. So anyways, Ray was working with this guy, and he was working with this guy, and we were waiting for a video to come out on YouTube. Okay, so this is his video with Big Dawes. Okay, so they did the video, like, I don't know if it was like 2 or 3 months before it actually came out, but we were waiting. And so Ray had texted him at some point in time, maybe like a week before, a month before, I don't really remember. It was like, when is the video coming out? And so the day that it came out, that morning, I got the inclination to go on YouTube and look up Capricorn October 2020 video. No, it must have been, October 2022 video. Was it October 2022? I think so. I think it was. Yeah, it had to be October 2022. Or was it 2021? Hold on, let me think about this, because we have moved into the last one. So it must have been October 2022. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. October 2022. And so they're like, look up Capricorn October 2022. And they gave me like a number, like number 15 on the videos. And it was a young woman. Her name is Tarot by Icy. Okay. And she was live doing a Capricorn October reading. And in that reading, I saw that she had 777 views. And I was like, ooh, I need to really pay attention to this. And she was saying a lot of things that were like happening around us. And so I figured that something must be happening soon. Now, I don't remember everything. I'll have to like go back and listen to the reading and then like remember what the connections were. But it was really big connections to things that were going on that day. So that's what I'm saying. Like with this woman today, she was like, you might see, you need to be paying attention to birds communicating with you, your guides communicating with you. When the birds, when the animals show up, it's not just a random occurrence. They're occurring for a specific reason. And literally, as she said that, I saw a hummingbird. And in this situation, October 2022, there was 777 on there. And she was talking about something was going to show up. And so I was like, okay, I really need to pay attention to it. So then, of course, within an hour, that video posted of his song with Big Dawes and the gentleman named Futuristic. And then when I saw it, it was actually at 777 views. I kid you not. Like, literally, I kid you not, it was at 777 views when I saw the video that was posted, right? So that was a reflection of her being like, something is happening, you know, get ready for it, be prepared for it. And then when I saw the video, it was already at 777 views. Okay, so it had actually posted before we knew that it had posted. So it was already in the works while I was listening to this reading. Okay, so if you're having these type of experiences, it'd be so fun if like literally what I'm saying right now sinks you into something. That would be so much fun. Like I am setting that intention, sink them in. Okay, so anyway, so we're like going crazy because we're super excited about this. You know, we're super happy about it. And it was like right around our daughter's birthday. So we're like super happy, like we're geeked up, we're having such a good time. Like, it came out really good. It sounded really good. It was like a really good video. The beginning of it is wilding a little bit, but it's cool though. It's cool. So anyway, so that night, or within a week of this happening, I end up having a dream about this woman. Tarba Icy. I end up having a dream about her. So I wake up in this dream, and like I usually am, I'm like, you know, orienting myself, figuring out what's going on. And I was in a mall, okay, which sometimes I have dreams in malls. When I was in New Orleans, I used to have dreams about malls a lot. So I'm in this mall, and I'm on the ground floor of this mall, and there's a big old Swarovski crystal store. Now, I know Swarovski crystal because I did a project on their store when I was in high school about diamonds and crystal, like diamond crystals or something like that. But I remember Swarovski specifically because it had a big old swan on it, which I am also connected into the goddess Saraswati and the swan maidens. Okay, that's a whole nother situation though. So anyways, I see this huge Swarovski store, and I go in there. Okay, so before I stepped in there, I had on just like, you know, typical clothes that even I wear now. I'm not gonna lie. Just real chill, down to earth, no frills, no thrills, nothing type of clothes, okay? Because, of course, at that time I was big pregnant. And so I'm just like feeling like, I don't really want to get dressed. I'm pregnant. Don't bother me, you know. But even now, like I have kids. And so my tendency is to go for like really, you know, downplayed stuff, just like throw it on, t-shirt kind of situation, okay? So I stepped into the Swarovski store, and it was something like I went in there and someone, I don't know if they were like trying to make me feel bad about what I was wearing, like that my clothes didn't, you know, fit the energy of Swarovski or whatever. But I think that how I took it was like, oh, okay, I need to just upgrade. I need to just upgrade myself, because if it's just my outward appearance that you're worried about, I could fix that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a big deal. So next thing I know, I ended up getting 2 things. I don't know how I got these 2 things. I feel like it was like earrings and maybe like a necklace. Maybe it was a bracelet too. Maybe it's like a set of diamonds. Because you know what I do want? I want one of those rare pink rose diamonds, like the pink purple diamonds. Oh my gosh, I want one of those. And I'm not even really like a jewelry person or necessarily like materialistic like that. But I've seen it in a meditation. And so now I'm like, I want to have it. So anyway, so I ended up getting like these diamond earrings, this diamond bracelet, this diamond necklace. And when I walked out of Swarovski's store, I ended up having on a different outfit, which I thought was so cool. So I'm like, see, if that's all you need, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this. And so it was like this really cute, comfortable sundress. So it was pink, orange, white, kind of sundress, okay? And then it was fitting my bump because I was pregnant, and it was really comfortable. And so I walked out of the store and I felt really, really, really good. And then there were also people that I noticed that were specifically not African American that were giving me compliments, which I thought was like very interesting too. So after I come out of there, I go up this escalator to go to the second floor of this mall, okay? So as I'm on the second floor of this mall, that's when I see this young woman, Icy, okay? So as I'm passing her, I'm not lucid enough to be like, oh, this is the girl from, the tarot channel that I saw. Oh, Fox. I just saw Fox. I wasn't lucid enough, but I was lucid enough to pick up her face, and I knew that I had seen her before. So I stopped to talk to her, and we had this conversation because she was leaving somewhere, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. She was leaving somewhere, and I like stopped to ask her directions or something like that. Like I was really just trying to start a conversation because she looked familiar and I couldn't place where I had seen her before. So anyways, we started having this really deep conversation about genuinely helping people to help them out, and that is a thing, especially when you're Capricorns, right? And I think that she also is a Capricorn. Especially when you are a Capricorn, it can be a very difficult placement to have because you are ascending to Capricorn archetype, and then you're ascending to like the upper echelon of Capricorn archetype. So not upper echelon like in in competition with other Capricorns. I'm just talking about upper echelon of the dimensions of Capricorn. So you're ascending to the pentacle of what it is to be a Capricorn. And so that archetype is about being the benefactor. It's like the dad that everybody really needs, as far as having the money stable, and the organization to keep the household stable. So Cancer energy is more about the nurturing environment, making sure that people are, loved, making sure that they are, feeling supported in what they do, making sure that, they have a place to call home. It's like the grounding of the ground, right, of Cancer. That's why they are the gatekeepers of the physical realm, because as you can see with reality, it is very difficult for people to get out of very toxic situations, to get out of toxic work environments, to even think about spirituality if their home is not secure, if they're not living in a safe environment, if they're not living with people who support them, if they don't have a support system at all, if they don't have what Capricorn can be influential in is an empire, is empire. But I meant to say like empire too, but what I meant to say is what is it called? Inheritance. That's what I'm trying to say. An inheritance, bringing babies in on a foundation of saved money, saved resources, saved houses, saved cars, and things like that. So anyways, we're having this really deep conversation about even when you don't want to, Capricorn has to live up to a standard. It's very like Virgo in that way. There's got to be a standard of, money and resources. And, even when the money is funny, keeping your integrity, because eventually it will come. And so we had this conversation and she still decided to leave. Now, I didn't know that I was like trying to bring her to a place, but I figured like, okay, she must need to sit on this. So she didn't like walk with me in the way that I was going. She still walked the opposite way. And so I was like, okay, cool. And so once I said goodbye to her, I saw that there was like a third level of stairs. Okay, so it wasn't an escalator, this was like stairs, and this was like a restricted area. And so look at this cute little bird. And so this is like a restricted area, Okay, so she was leaving the restricted area and I was going to the restricted area. So when I went to the restricted area, it was actually like this basketball gym in this mall. And it was kind of like a hideaway kind of basketball thing. Like almost like the owners of the mall, like them and their friends come to play basketball in this area just to have a place to go shoot hoops and stuff like that, you know, like fun stuff. So when I entered it, I was in the bleacher section and I realized that this was a invitation only meeting area. So I had remembered that I had gotten an invitation to come to this place to hear out something to see if I wanted to be a part of it. And it was a 3-letter organization. Okay, so I don't know, and I'm not saying that to be like, I don't know if it was CIA or FBI. I don't know which 3-letter organization because I just didn't remember it. But it was clear that it was either government funded or it was directly a governmental agency that had invited me to this place. Okay, so in this place, it was very interesting. There were different groups of people, and immediately when I walked in, I could sense the different groups of people, right? Which is why I was there, which is a whole nother story. I'll get to that in a second. But there were different people there, okay? So there were like the brainy people, like the hackers, you know, get internet, you know, technology people get, you know, information off the internet, you know, coding, you know, things like that. They had that group. Then they had the kind of beauty kind of group, like women who use their, let's say, feminine prowess to, it didn't feel like it was like, you know, on some weird stuff, you know, where they were like training them to have sex with people to get secrets. It didn't feel like that. But it was like people who they could send in to sweeten a situation, let's say that. Like, you know, they might have this woman come in instead of like bad cop, you know, good cop, bad cop. They have this woman come and talk to them in a different setting before they decide whether they're going to bring someone in. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a spy in a sense, but if the person wasn't guilty of something or they weren't suspecting anything, it just would be a good conversation, and then the beauty would pass them up. But if they actually were involved in negative situations, then they would be taken in at that point. So they were kind of like sweeteners to a situation. Women with, you know, feminine nurturing kind of qualities like that. You know, I guess seductive in a way, but it was more like a nurturing kind of thing. And then we had the jocks, you know, who are like the muscles. Like, you don't want to get in combat with them. They were jocks, okay? So we had those. We had the muscles. Okay, and then they had this other group that I don't quite remember. And so then you had the psychics, okay? So there's a group of psychics, and these psychics are specifically predicting the timeline of how things were going to go. Okay, so if you know about psychics and, you know, mystics and everything like that, psychics are usually people who can predict the future. They tell you about what's to come in the future. Okay, so like you wouldn't go, I mean, you can go to a psychic for a variety of spiritual things, but, you know, it's important sometimes to know what you're asking about. So like someone who is asking about, let's say, shadow work that they need to do, that would be a good tarot reading. And a psychic, of course, could tell you about shadow work, but they would be able to tell you more of like, okay, if you do this shadow work, this is where I could see you ending up in the future. Or you have something in your life right now that's preventing you from being your highest self. And if you shift it, I can see this. They can also tell you like, hey, if you make this move, then this is how things are going to play out. They tell you what the, you know, sort of end goal of something is. Okay. So the group that I was going to, which was behind the muscle people. The group I was going to were the intuitives, okay? So it's a little bit different than the psychics. And not saying that intuitives can't be psychics, but intuitives were very specific in this group of people. So the intuitives, which is what he started talking about, were the people who are going to be, who had the ability to tap into, let's say, extraterrestrial energies. And so it would be like a heightened form of an empath. That's probably what I would say. So you could call them mediums, but usually when people are talking about mediums, there's an implication of, recent ancestors, people who have been on the earth before. So they're tapping into a certain plane of existence that we can't see, but those energies still exist. Whereas when we're talking about intuitives in the context of this meeting, they're talking about people who also have the sensitivity, I would say, to sense other energies and to be able to commune with them. Okay. So this guy, I feel like his name would be like Steve or something like that. He's giving a breakdown of what everybody is there for. So Steve starts talking, and he is saying that they are an organization that is formed to help find women and children who have been trafficked. Now, I don't think that they're specifically leaving out men that have been trafficked, but it just seemed like, of course, there was a higher case of women and children being trafficked, and they're the most vulnerable groups of trafficking. And so what was setting this organization apart was that they had an extraterrestrial group that they were using to help them find these women and children. So they were not relying on human intel. They also had extraterrestrial intel. Okay. And so this is where all the intuitives, immediately on the spot get tested. So immediately when he says that, I start to see this cord between my aura field of my brain and something else that look like, those cartoons, and they have like wablam, and then but it kind of looks like it could look like an opening dimension, because it's like wablam, right? And it'll be like white, and then it's like a star kind of cloud, and you'll see like a red and then an orange and then whatever, right? It kind of looked like that opening up, like Bugs Bunny with Looney Tunes, like when he that little portal opens up and he's sitting in the portal and they got like the different colors in it. It looked like that, but this was like pretty much white and yellow. And so as I was focusing on it, I'm like, child, what is going on? As I'm focusing on it, I start to see these energies. Now, this was crazy. Okay, this was wild, because I think that it ended up going into my Mothman dream. So as it opens up, I see this, I'm just going to call it race, I guess, or species, but it felt like a race. Some have to go and see what race again is, but a race of these black rabbits type of situations, okay? This black rabbit type of situations. And they all have red eyes, which I noticed that. So they all have red eyes, and they look like black bunnies, black rabbits, black hares or whatever. I don't know the difference between a rabbit, a bunny, and a hare, but they have very long ears. They had whiskers, a triangle nose, red eyes. Their teeth were a little bit creepy, not gonna lie, like they're very creepy. And they reminded me of the Donnie Darko bunny. That's exactly what they reminded me of, the Donnie Darko bunny. What was this? Frank. That's what it reminded me of. Frankton, whatever. Sir Franklin or whatever. That's what it reminded me of. And so I remember being like, I don't I don't know if these are the energies that we should work with, because it was giving creepy. It was giving, are you sure about this? It was giving, I'm not exactly sure if they're helping. What type of contract do you have with them? And it does matter, right? It matters if someone is helping you because of a contract, right? Which is like a deceitful path. That means there's something in this agreement, right? Because in some type of ways it's a stretch, but it is a type of agreement. But you can guarantee that if push comes to shove, there is some type of con-like energy here, that you will be blindsided by something if you don't really read this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it matters if that's the thing that's keeping the glue together as to why they're helping you, versus someone who's helping because they genuinely want to help. Then usually there's no hidden motives or weird intentions or whatever. And so I'm like, I don't know about this. And so Steve could already see my apprehension, right? Because he already knew that I was connecting in, that I could see. And so he gave an explanation immediately. And he was like, well, we use these entities because they are in a lower vibration enough to tap into the frequencies of the minds of these type of beings, into the minds of these type of humans, and then implying that, also these humans are being animated or put on paths by other energies. And so what they have found is that they have to have an type of being that is in that realm and can see it clearly. But I still was like, I don't know. Which is true, because, sometimes I'll read for people or I'll do dream interpretations, and I'll tell them, like, there might be really crazy stuff going on in your life, but I don't reside in that. So as much as I can feel with that is like something ain't right, and what I do and what I would tell you to do is just leave it alone. Whether it's completely walking away from it or waiting for it to get worked out and come back around, because I usually am not a person that likes to, get involved in tricky situations, uncomfortable situations, confusing situations. I just don't usually do that. And, it's a dime a dozen. Now, sometimes I'll end up in the situation and I am guided to go through it anyway, and that's because it serves some type of purpose other than foolishness. But so I could kind of see what Steve was saying, because you need something that, if they're like, oh, this person is doing X, Y, and Z, you need somebody to know what that energy looks like. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, it wasn't sitting right with me. And so, we kind of ended that meeting where there was going to be like a test run, like a trial run. And then that's when I woke up. So I didn't really get all the details about what the test run was going to look like or what the trial was going to look like. But I mean, with the dream world, that could have been it, because maybe they didn't want me to remember that so that I could have natural reactions to whatever was going around. And what's also interesting, probably about a month after I had that, so sometime in like November 2020, I ended up having a dream about another organization reaching out to me in the dream world. Now, this was interesting because I was in Arizona in this dream, and then there was a woman, like I ended up in somebody's backyard. Like, I kid you not, ended up in somebody's backyard, like a grandmother's backyard, and it was full of all of these wonderful flowers. And there was the woman who came out and she just handed me some tea. And I was like, okay, hey, I mean, I guess I'm like, who are you and how did I get here? Because I had enough lucidity. And so she started telling me, she was like, we are a 3-letter organization. And I'm saying that because that's literally what she said, a 3-letter organization. So it's implying that, they're either funded by the government, or that they are government affiliated, or that they use governmental funding or something like that. She's like, we're a 3-letter organization and we are interested in, something. I couldn't remember exactly what she said, something. And so she was like, I want you to drink this tea, and this tea is going to help you to teleport. I promise you, teleport to the organization so that we can see if you're a good fit and see if you're also interested in what we do. And so I was like, okay, well, where is it? I kid you not. She was like, it's just going to take you to France. I'm like, okay, cool. So like, this is just teleportation tea that brings you to a very specific location in France. Okay, cool. Yeah, like, let's do it. Just normal everyday things, right? Like, cool. So we sip the tea, and I'm actually about to drink some green tea right now. Okay, let's go ahead and get that quantum effect going on. Okay. I think her tea was it was like chamomile and mint. Obviously it probably has some other stuff in there, but the main flavors I was getting was chamomile and mint. Okay. And so anyways, I kid you not, I drank the tea, baby, and I was in a parking lot in France. I kid you not. And it was like I just ended up in this parking lot in a parking spot without a car. And so it would look like to other people that I had taken a car because I was in the parking lot, and I'd just be walking along the parking lot. But I didn't take a car. I got teleported there. And the funny thing was that while I was walking in this parking lot, I actually saw one of my family members as well on the other side of the parking lot. And so I ran up to this family member and I'm like, what are you doing here? Because in waking life, I hadn't heard from her in like a week or so. Sometimes people are like going through different things, different transits and stuff like that. So I usually, don't reach out unless, I really feel like something is up, because, I know different transits, different things going on in life. People have different things they're going through. And so I was like, oh my gosh, where have you been? And she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know if I could tell you about this, because they were like, something was going on. So I didn't know if I could tell you. I didn't know if I was supposed to tell anyone. So I've just been preparing for it and thinking about it if I wanted to do it. And so I decided to do it. So she told me that she had flown into France from where she's from. So I was like, what? That's so crazy. I was like, that is so wild. Okay. So as we're going into this building, which is very unassuming, it looked like, just random office building in the middle of possibly nowhere, some big old complex with a, office buildings, there or something. Oh. Nah. Oh. Okay, sorry. I just got a call from someone, and the numbers are really interesting. But anyways, so we're walking into this building together, and it was very interesting because as I was walking into the building, like actually crossing the door, I guess I wasn't super committed to this because I ended up splitting myself. So there was an aspect of me that fully went into it. And, the woman who had given me the tea eventually is the woman that met me at the door with my cousin. And she was walking me in. There were like a good amount of people. It wasn't a huge amount, like definitely under like 200 people. And, they had, food stations, they had, pens, notepads, everything that you would need at a, what do you call them? Oh my gosh, like, what do you call that? They have them for college kids too, where you come in and it's not initiation, but you come in and you look at the college and, get familiar with it. I can't remember the term right now. That's so crazy. what is the term of this? It's like a simple word too, but oh my gosh. It'll probably come to me some inopportune time, but whatever. So, this whole thing to do this kind of mixer, we'll call it a mixer, but that's not what it's called. And so I'm looking at myself now. So I've split myself because I guess I wasn't totally committed. I was still trying to figure out, who this organization is, what it was, how this woman specifically knew me and then knew of my cousin. So I was still connected to my hearing, okay? So I'm not in my body, not fully in my body. Like I said, that I could see my physical body and I could see myself interacting with her and interacting with all these people and stuff like that. And she was holding me very close to her too. And I noticed that too. So there was definitely some type of personal connection there that I didn't know. But her body language was very much specifically connected to me. And so it was almost like she was kind of like taking me under her wing and showing me around to certain people. And so there was a certain person that we started talking to who was like an older woman. So this woman I'm talking about, she was a fair-skinned lady. She was a white woman. So I don't know if she was French, but, she had this, brown ponytail, taller than me, definitely. Maybe mid-30s, late 30s, going, maybe 38, 37, something like that. And then there was another woman that showed up who was a shorter woman than her, but still taller than me. And she was an older woman with like this, kind of curly fro situation. She gave me more of kind of like grandmotherly energy. She wasn't in grandma territory, but maybe grandmother. I don't know how to describe that. But anyways, so she's introducing me, the woman that I was with. I'm just going to call her, I don't know, Betsy. I don't know. Well, that probably would be the other woman's name, would be something like Betsy or Candace or something like that. I don't know. But the younger woman starts introducing me to this older woman. And she goes, yeah, this is Deshandra Bryan. And that's when I was like, oh, I know what this is connected to. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So they know that side of the family in some type of way, which was very intriguing to me. So then this woman pulls me to the side and she lets me know that that they had worked with a member of my family before. And I do know what member of the family, but because this is actually real life, I don't want to put that out there, but that they had worked with a member of my family before, and that that member of the family ended up going rogue, and that member ended up doing some things that were against the organization. But because they still saw some redeeming qualities in that person, and I guess they understood why they went rogue to a certain extent, and it was pretty much like that they, had gotten some type of information, and so, I don't know, it's a long story, and this is already long, so I'm gonna just, start wrapping it up. But anyways, now, come on, sir. This man is wilding. Okay. I'm looking at this guy in front of me and he is wilding right now. Okay. Let me focus. There's so many white cars around here right now. In front of me, I'm just noticing there's 6 white cars right now. And I find that very interesting. A lot of red and white cars. So anyways, focus, DeeDee. Oh, the Tundra is leaving. It's a white Tundra too. The Tundra is going bye-bye. Okay. Okay, let me refocus myself. Oh, it's 47 miles. Okay, thanks so much. Okay. So anyways, they had worked with this relative or whatever, and this person let me know that they had known about me since I was a child, which I also, but I told you in the dream where you have to stay calm, which I also thought was absolutely bonkers. Like, inside, I am freaking out because this woman is letting me know that they have been watching me since I was a baby. And they actually knew about me, and that this family member was a part of this organization during my childhood. So this is not just like, oh, you have, you know, some ancient ancestry or whatever, a part of this group or whatever. This is like real time, someone that's tangible to me. So I was like, what? And so she started telling me things about what she knew about me as a baby and stuff. And that, you know, of course, when her and this family member lost contact, when her and this family member lost contact, they had lost tracking on me for a point in time. But then I guess in college, which is definitely when I had my awakening, she was letting me know that I had come back on their radar. Now, I don't know if she's talking about an actual radar, like they had me chipped or something like that, which it didn't feel like a chipping situation. You know, but some type of way I got back on their radar. And so they've been watching me into my adult years and then after having kids. So they've been watching me the whole time. And so they wanted to kind of see what my personality was throughout life to see if they were going to approach me. And so that's how I got picked. And then they also, now I'm not sure my cousin's involvement, because this was a cousin on a different side of the families. We're two different sides of my family. So I'm not sure how they found her too. But anyways, I thought that was very interesting because it was definitely a legacy type of situation. Kind of, sort of, because it felt like this was like a relatively new organization. Like maybe they had history in older things, but the new one was a more modern, newer construct, I would say. And so what this organization was doing was pulling everyday, quote unquote, everyday people who had abilities and then figuring out how we could use those abilities to better serve the world. So it's very interesting because it very much was like, what's that show? Salem Motherhood or Mothership or something, where the witches are helping the United States government now or something. Now, it wasn't exactly like that because I don't remember if it was like using combat or, you know, even a part of the army or anything like that. But it was definitely those kind of vibes of like, you know, being out in the open with your gifts and abilities and using it to solve humanity's, things in humanity that needed to be fixed, that needed to be improved on. So I found that to be quite interesting. So, okay, because I've been talking enough, okay? I've been talking for so long. If you got all the way here through all of this, shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you. Make sure that you comment, like, share, subscribe. Heavy on the commenting. 1 comment, 2 comments, 3 comments. Come back in, 2 months, 3 months, 7 months. Make another comment. I would love to hear the connections. Because that is eventually, that's eventually what I want it to do, is be like a forum. We can talk about things, exchange ideas, and figure out this very convoluted puzzle of reality. So yes, again, my name is DeeDee, and sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Bye. Oh, okay, wait, hold on, because I have to come back and say this. It's 12 o'clock on the dot when I'm saying this. So I went to go check out the Aztec hummingbird guy, okay? And I'm not going to try to say his name, but I went to go check him out, and he is called the Turquoise Prince. That's very significant because I've been seeing turquoise, red, and black. And he is associated to the 12th heaven. And I have been seeing a lot. I've actually been dreaming about the 12th dimension. And so I thought that this would be fun to say. So usually when I see dimensions, when they're talking about Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what? And they just corrected it. And what? You better shut up. I literally saw on a license plate just now. Y'all, like, I paused, like, I was done. And then I came back because I told y'all I just saw Fox. Okay? This car literally passed just now. And it said Fox Star. Fox Star. Is there a Fox Star? I'm going to have to look it up and see. Maybe I'll do that right now as I'm talking about this. But okay, so the fox is also significant, which is significant because that's in another video I'm going to be posting about werewolves and foxes. They are connected to each other. But what I was going to say before the fox star, like, what? So if you're seeing foxes, okay, look, which of course 12 is the 12th month is associated really to Pisces, but also Capricorn, right? December, even though December is a 10, but it's in the spot of Pisces. So when I see the not dimensions, because they were like, this is not about dimensions, this is about densities, okay? So dimensions, you can have 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th dimension in the same density. And I don't really know too much about densities, but I heard them correct it. So I'm going to go correct it in my dream journal too. It's about densities. When I see the densities, they are usually represented as flowers or plants or trees. And so I had a dream because I've been thinking about the 9th density that I kept calling the 9th dimension, the 9th density. And how I saw it was like a flower. And so the flower had like the center of it, right, which is where the nutrients and the food and the pollen and everything is. The bees go to the center of it, which is like the womb, is level 0, right? That's when you're coming into physicality with the body, merging with the spiritual consciousness, and you meet at the center point of the graph, the 0 point, right? And then, you know, that gets more detailed, but we're talking about babies right now, not how to make babies, right? So that's a 0. And then the first wait, is that dimension or is that density? I'm gonna have to like go back with this because I'm not sure if they're talking about dimensions or densities. Right now I feel like we're talking about dimensions, so I'm gonna stick with that. But maybe the 9th dimension is attached to the 9th density. But right now I feel we're talking about dimensions. So the first dimension would be the first layer of this flower petal. And then the second one would be another layer extending out. So the second layer from the center point would be the second dimension, then the third dimension. Maybe the dimensions go out and the densities I'm gonna have to really think about this because I'm seeing it like in my mind, I'm seeing it like 3D. And so I'm seeing like, literally this first dimension is like a smaller, closer to the middle of the flower, but coming out, when flowers bloom outward. But what I saw, which I think is 9th density, is the same concept, but it is like the flat version, the silhouette. And so when you're dealing with the silhouette, it looks almost one-dimensional and you're spreading out. So it's like when you're drawing it on a paper, how you would be drawing more layers of flowers. So I'm gonna have to do some research because I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, that's what I was going to say anyways, that usually when I'm seeing these dimensions, or I guess maybe densities, it is usually the silhouette of flowers. So there's not density, there's not width and depth to it. It's the silhouette. and it's talking about the expansion of the silhouette. So the ninth density was being shown as a black flower with 9 layers of petals. 9 layers of petals extended out from the center. Okay. I'm going to do a video about it and show it. So I feel like I'm not really talking it out that well. And so anyways, in the stream, they're letting me know that ninth density, like, it's, you know, still a lot, but it is still under a shadow. It's still under a cast. So that's not the goal. The goal is the 12th. And I had a dream about 3 years ago that I remember very vividly, that the 12th dimension was the silhouette of a huge tree. Now, to me, the tree looked like a sycamore tree. But I think that depending on your soul and where your soul originates from and things like that, it could be a different tree. But I do know that the 4th or 16th dimension for me is the acacia tree. So it's the silhouette of the trees. So the dimension is in, I think it's something that's hard to just like comprehend, but it's like the silhouette of the tree is the 12th dimension, 12th density. I know, I keep going back and forth. It's so many D's. It's so many D words. Dimension, density, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So the reality is the totality of a tree. And I have not been able to experience that I remember. Maybe a piece of it, but the basic symbol of it is the silhouette of a tree. So I wanted to say that because when I was looking him up, the turquoise prince, he's associated to the 12th heaven. And I know the 13th heaven is associated to something really big too. So I just wanted to come back and say that because I was like, what? And so if you're having that connection as well, then that's a little bit more of the puzzle too. Okay, bye for real this time.